to introduce Robert Grow, and I know some people are going to filter in here. Allison Davis, I don't know if Allison is in the room yet or not. I know that there was a SET meeting earlier today. But Allison and I were fortunate enough to receive a HUD grant, one of the Sustainable Communities grants. We got $550,000 to work with a region in Kentucky and Tennessee that had actually applied for SET, for the Stronger Economies Together program. Didn't write that great of an application, but we saw some real potential in them, so we wound up writing a HUD grant for them. And so we were called to Washington, D.C. to their Sustainable Communities Conference. And as I'm walking around and listening to speakers and so on, I ran into this Robert Grow guy from Envision, Utah. I said, we're going to Park City, and this guy talks the talk and walks the walk. We need him to come and speak at our conference. And so I was looking around for him, and I finally found him. I literally tackled him in the hallway. I hope he's okay. He's a lawyer, so I need to make sure he's okay. I don't want any personal injury suits or anything else. But really, Robert is the chairman and a founder of Envision Utah. And after listening to the mayor yesterday, who's obviously drank the Kool-Aid, okay, which is great. Not a lot of mayors in Tennessee have drank the Kool-Aid, or they have, but it's for other reasons. Robert is a person that really does walk the walk and talk the talk. And I wanted him to come today because we've heard from a university president who understands what we do. We've heard from Sally Maggart, who is our federal representative, who certainly understands what we do and advocates for us. And I wanted to hear from someone who's actually boots on the ground getting things done. And as you can tell, in Park City, things are getting done, but things are getting done all over Utah. And some of it is a mindset, and some of it is just, raw gusto going out there and getting things done. So I wanted Robert to come today and give us a feel for what's going on here in Utah to set the stage for when you guys go out into Utah today and really get a feel for what's going on here in Park City and elsewhere within the great state of Utah. So without further ado, I'd like to bring up Robert Grow.
Welcome to Utah. I understand I'm the only one, according to the mayor, who's improperly dressed today. Is that true? I see another tie. Are there any others? Oh, Michael, I didn't learn your lesson either. Okay, theoretically. Wow, there we go. This is good. Well, thank you for inviting me this morning, and it's always an honor to visit with people from outside our state and to be able to talk about our state. Now, we're sort of proud of this place, so I apologize in advance if you sense that or feel like we're maybe a little over proud, but we'd love to talk with you about some of the things we've seen accomplished over the years and about how we've been able to do some of those things. Now, before I start, this is sort of like a smorgasbord. If there's something that makes sense to you and might appeal to you in terms of the problems and issues you have back home, take it home. If it doesn't make sense, that's fine. Just enjoy your breakfast. A number of years, I'm going to tell you a story since we're in the stories this morning. A number of years ago, there were two hunters out on the plains savannas of Africa, and they were just getting up for breakfast and really hadn't had a chance to dress yet and weren't quite awake, and they saw a large, hungry lion headed their way, and recognizing he hadn't had breakfast either, they took off running. And the first one outran the second one, and he saw a small tree, and he scrambled up the tree just as the lion was closing in on them. The second one ran and dove into a cave in the side of a hill. And the lion got to the tree and scratched at it, and the first guy could just barely stay out of reach of the lion. But then the second guy jumps out of the cave, and the lion rushes him and almost gets him. The man jumps back in the cave. The lion goes back to the tree. The guy comes out of the cave a second time. The lion rushes him again, almost gets him. And his friend in the tree shouts over to him, "You better stay in the cave, or the lion is going to get you for breakfast." And his friend from the cave shouts back, "You don't understand local conditions. There's a bear in the cave." So I don't understand your local conditions, and so I hope what I say will be useful to you in some respect. But if it's not, once again, enjoy your breakfast. Now, I'm going to talk about Envision Utah. Envision Utah was founded 15 years ago formally this January. So it's an effort that's been around for quite a while. And don't tell me my computer's frozen. Oh, there we go. And Envision Utah is really one of those major efforts to do what we call regional visioning. Now, the process I'm going to talk about works for regions, but it also works in subsets. Envision Utah has now done over 49 individual processes within the state of Utah two outside the state, to help solve problems in our state. But the process I'm going to talk about is sort of the overarching vision we created a number of years ago. And we view this as a very powerful tool to meet difficult challenges and create sustainable communities. I know you're spending a lot of time talking about limited resources, and we all face a lot of trends and challenges, which are, some are unique to our localities, others are not. How many of you watched the eclipse the other night? Now, how many of you know the name of the little town in southern Utah where it went right over where you can see the ring of fire? Canaraville. Canaraville is, if you were in Cedar City, most of you don't know where Cedar City is, but Cedar City is a pretty bustling little university town in central Utah. If you used to drive out of the main street of Cedar City and go south, you ended up in Main Street, Canaraville. And Canaraville was also a bustling little town. Now, what killed a lot of bustling little towns in America about 50 years ago? The interstate highway. And so if you're in